The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, hello everyone. It's great to see you here. Super excited to get stuck into a topic that I get asked about a lot, and one which for years I wasn't overly comfortable in sharing. I didn't really feel like it was my strong point either. So this is an opportunity for you to for me to share a really powerful um, I guess strategy or activity that you could be doing in your business to turn around results straight away. So let's dive in. You're in the right place if you are here to listen to how to generate conversations that convert into paying clients. I really want to make sure that you can hear me. Can you type a Y in the chat box if you can hear me and see my screen? So you should be able to just see a picture of me with the title of the webinar. So there's a little chat box. If you can just pop a Y in there, that would help me greatly. I've done lots of webinars where people cannot see my screen or hear me, and that never really pans out very well. So if you can do that, that would be great. Just wait and see if anyone's going to. And I think someone, oh, great. Excellent. Thank you, Georgina. I appreciate that. Oh, thanks, Pat. Thanks so much. Awesome. Fiona's on the line too. Great. Fantastic. I like that. Okay, great. So let me just pop this in here, make sure we can get through. So you're in the perfect place today to learn how to convert more clients into offers using the power of genuine conversations that turn prospects into paying clients. And we all love that. I'm going to show you just how easy it can be to feel confident and empowered to serve those who genuinely need what you have to offer without feeling pushy, icky, or salesy. And why this method works to help you increase your revenue, attract higher caliber clients, and get them great results. So you probably, if you're showing up today, you might often find yourself thinking that you'd like a way to charge more for your services and programs, particularly if you have a smaller list. But maybe you can barely get buyers to convert on sales pages and through your existing funnels for lower priced offers. So you're sort of thinking, well, you know, how am I going to get conversations to work any better than what I've already got there? People won't even buy what I'm selling at a really low price, or oftentimes my clients actually offering things for free even. So you know, that can be something that you might be thinking. Or you might think, I can't stand doing what you might call sales calls. I'd rather do anything than that. And actually one of my clients said that yesterday. I don't care what you say, I just hate them. And it's like, right, it's a common feeling. I get it. And I used to feel like that as well about having conversations. It's like, oh, I've got to like pitch my services. I've got to, you know, share what I have to offer. I have to have that uncomfortableness of speaking the price and the investment level of my programs, right? And it just makes you feel, oh my gosh. Or maybe you've thought, when I get to the end of a call, they always tell me they have to think about it. Like you just kind of stall at the end, right? Or maybe you think your people don't have the money to invest in themselves, or they just don't have money. You're hearing that time and time again. No, they don't have money. No, who here feels like that? Type a Y in the chat box. Let me know if you've thought any of those, or you have any other ones to add about when you think about having conversations with your clients, even in general, even if you're tanking and not even making an offer, but you're having a conversation, whether it even be on a webinar or you know, maybe you're in Facebook Live and answering questions, and you feel like you want to kind of shrink back rather than put forth your true value and your offers. If you feel like that, it is very common, and you're in the right place, because the real problem is you're not certain enough about your own expertise and transformation. And this leads to you stalling in any conversations you have with your prospects. So what that means is that when you go to put any offers out there, you're just stopping short. You're falling short. You're being completely overwhelmed by the opportunity to actually ask for someone to invest with you, invest in your offers, even though you know that they can help the person, right? And that this is consistently showing up in my clients. So I know it's probably showing up on the people that on the people who are on the call today. So instead, what happens is you hide behind all your content consumption. You know, you want to go and buy another course, read another blog post, consume someone else's video, think about how they know so much more than you, right? Or just put sales pages out there hoping people will buy, like crossing your fingers and hoping they'll buy, because heaven forbid if you have to have a conversation with a prospect or a potential buyer, right? Like the thought of it just makes you shrink back, even if you probably rationalized it and go, oh no, it's fine, I'm okay with it. Why aren't you having more conversations? Why aren't you converting more of your ideal clients, right? And largely it comes down to the fact that you're just not confident in your offer. And then what ends up happening is that lack of confidence in your offer and yourself ends up placing a barrier between you and your clients. It destroys the chances of authentic connection that would lead to a sale or a conversion, right? Your lack of clarity and confidence in what you have to bring to the table means that you pull back when you need to be sharing your offer with confidence and inviting them to step forth and raise their hand. And that lack of wanting to sort of step up and really ask for for them to raise their hand, for them to invest in you, whatever it might be, is leading to you're just stalling. You're not getting those conversions. You're not getting, you're not being able to help those clients either, because you're just shrinking back at every opportunity despite your best intentions. And that's often just because of the way that you're perceiving what these conversations are, but also at its very heart, it's a lack of clarity and confidence in what you're offering. And secondly, it's because you sit in your own life in this place of indecision. You're not coming from an empowered yes in your own business, because if you go to invest in yourself, or you go to upscale, or create new reality for your own business, you pull back that way as well. So how can you expect your prospects to give you a confident yes when you can't give a confident yes in your own business? I was very much stuck in that place sort of midway through my business. In the beginning, I was like, great, I want to invest. I want to, get mentoring. I did some amazing masterminds. They made such a difference to my to my offers, to my income, and to my impact, right? Starting back in 2010, when I said yes to my first mastermind. And then I kind of reached this point of like uncertainty and questioning, where it didn't feel like when I invested, it made the biggest differences like it did in the beginning. And then fear and doubt started to creep in. Some things didn't work like they used to. And then I felt like, oh, okay, well, hang on, this doesn't work anymore. I started to doubt myself, started to just absolutely, for want of a better word, start to shit myself on conversations. I'd be all like, okay, this is great, finding out and diagnosing where my prospect was at. But then when I went to make the offer, I'd either just talk too much, or shy away from it, or basically run too early with it before the person that I'm having a genuine conversation. A genuine conversation implies two ways. You've got to pace it. You've got to go at a level where they're uncovering the cost of staying where they are. They're seeing for the first time the real significance of their problem. You're diagnosing whether you can actually help them, whether they'd be a great client for you. This is two ways. It's not just a, hey, buy my shit kind of thing, right? Like, we've got to think about it in a much more considered way than that, and have the right cadence, but have the right interaction between the two parties to ensure that it moves forward. But it's also a mindset game. You need to be utterly clear and confident in what you are offering in terms of transformation, the offer. You have to feel the price in your body and feel like without a shadow of a doubt that you can deliver for that person on the call. All of those elements come into play to really increase your success, okay? Because when you try to sell, or when you try to follow a framework that you think you should do, what can happen is you can just overwhelm, over deliver, and steer your potential clients away from a yes. If you're lacking in confidence, what can happen is that you just give them all this coaching and information because you want to kind of impress them. It's almost like you're auditioning for the sale, right? When really that's crazy. What you need to be doing is listening more to where they're at, uncovering and diagnosing to get to the right solution, rather than coaching them straight on the call like they've given you permission to do, which they probably haven't, right? Or you even avoid making the offers, or as soon as you do, who's done this one where you jump in and start talking at 100 miles an hour about your offer when you get to the price, right? Because you're like, you take all this time to establish and set it up, and then you just go, and anyway, it's $5,000. Thanks very much. Oh, what do you think? Well, done, right? You push through way too quickly. That can happen on webinars too. So, or you resist just having these conversations altogether. You haven't quite summoned up the courage to start having regular and consistent conversations in your business. And I guarantee that when you do and you make these really regular, you will find so much that you'll get so much better. It's all about repetition, practice, iteration, seeing what comes from the calls that you have that don't work and what comes from those that do, right? That's when you start to get better. Unfortunately, we're so afraid to even step into this space. We're not even having a chance to get the repetition and get the results. Because the truth is, when you're stuck in uncertainty about your own strengths, you can't lead your audience to an empowered decision. Right? You're totally out of alignment because you're sitting in on some uncertainty about who you are and what you can provide for them. And you're just going to be stuck in this pattern of waiting for the scraps and continue to undercharge and over-deliver, or have no clients at all and continue to buy courses and just be stuck in this place of overwhelm and fear and doubt about what you can do. And when people are asking how your business is going, you just want to tell them a great big lie because you're embarrassed that it's not where it should be. And that's because you don't have the confidence and the clarity to step up and take this opportunity. The beautiful part about having connected conversations is that you can start generating these from what I like to call analog ways. You don't have to have some sophisticated funnel, right? But if you do, great. Well, it doesn't have to be overly complicated, but you might want to start a funnel, and without having a big list of people or being well established or having some amazing expertise or any of that. You can start doing that and start having these connected conversations. And this is why I love it. You don't have to have 10,000 people on your list to make something work. You can start one conversation at a time. You can start getting your clients into action because I know you've got valuable expertise to share. You're just not clear in how to package that up to a high value solution and then how to uncover on these calls the cost of where your clients are and make sure that you can match that up. And not everyone's going to be a fit. This isn't just about having conversations and conversions for conversion's sake. This is about you being very, very clear about who you want to work with, who you want to create a transformation for, and what that transformation is. Okay. Look, sales used to freeze me up too. I get it. I think about it and think, oh, sales. Oh gosh, I don't want to do sales, right? My first job out of uni was to sell land in a housing estate, right? And I had no idea, no training, no idea. I was selling, $20,000 to $50,000 blocks of land. This is back in 1995, straight out of uni, and I think I was 20, turning 21 doing this, right? And I had no idea what was in the mind and the hearts of my prospects, like who were wanting to, build their dream house. I was 20 years old. I was just out of uni, wanting to go out on the weekends, not sit in a sales office selling land. I'd rather have poked my eyeballs out. And I think there's these things about that we start to frame what conversations can be, that it has to be salesy and what that means for us. We tell a story, right? But the fact is, over the last 8 years since I started my own coaching and consulting business, I've actually been able to create average sales of $5,400 per client conversation. That even includes the clients that say no on those conversations. So even those times when I had the doubt, even the times when I wrecked half of them because I, wasn't confident, I wasn't clear, I was so just hoping people would say yes to me that, I'd run off at the mouth and go crazy. Because I love to talk, in case you hadn't noticed, right? I love to talk. So the thought of conversations doesn't actually scare me. The thought of putting my value out there and asking for people to invest in me is a different story, okay? And that's where I see that in my clients time and time again as well. So that's even with offers ranging from $697 to $25,000, okay? I've worked with beautiful Miranda, who's been in my mastermind as well. Just by switching her package, packaging what she already knew, but creating a higher price. So going from her constantly underselling herself to starting to create a package that was $3,000, she was able to enroll 3 new people in that within weeks by having these connected conversations. And I guarantee she did. She was like resisting them like crazy. I don't want to do that. No, how would I? And then with the right kind of framework and uncovering that needs to just come from a place of service, from clarity, from confidence, from you being in a place of empowered yes, from rather than the land of maybe, that will then create the positive outcomes for you and your clients. So, there we go. I'm just going back here. Don't mind me. Here we are. At the heart of these genuine conversations is the fact that they bloom from sharing a clear message on social media as well as in your funnels, right? So I'm not suggesting you go, okay, put up an ad and go, hey, come and get on a call with me. That would just be pointless, right? It's like asking for the sale way too quickly. It's expecting something that just is not going to happen. You have to start flexing the muscle of sharing your message to market. And if you're not clear on it, we need to get clear on it, because this is the first point before you even bother about sales conversations. I need to be able to say to you, hey, could you jump on a Facebook Live right now, talk to your ideal clients and give them something of value to share right now? And if you're kind of, flapping around at that, don't even try with conversations, because you're not going to convert them because you're not in a place of clarity and confidence. And if you do convert them, it's just sheer luck rather than a good strategy, okay? So I want you to start with the first step of consistently sharing your message to market. Maybe they're in written posts. Maybe you don't have to do Facebook Live, but I guarantee the more Facebook Lives, the more posts you do, the more of that, the more you show up for your ideal audience, the more you start attracting them and getting them to enter into the dialogue, even if they're just voyeuristically watching you for now. Those sorts of things are going to start to build desire in their minds that leads to the demand that you need before you have these conversations. The reason sometimes these conversations don't go anywhere is because you haven't built up the demand. You haven't created credibility and authority in what you share with your clients, right? And so they haven't seen you. You haven't been consistently showing up. I've seen clients who say to me, well, I've done my webinar now. Now I'm not sure the message is right because it's not converting. And I'm like, well, how are you sending reminders? Are you sending emails out consistently to your list? Are you doing videos? Are you doing everyday social media posts, right? Are you sharing audios? Have you got a podcast? Are you showing up on guest blogs and working with other people who've created large numbers of your ideal clients, right? Are you? And 9 times out of 10, most people are not, okay? So today, I'm sharing with you the simple mindset shift that doesn't require months of personal development to overcome your fear of sales. It'll be the best time to pace and frame your offer when talking with a prospect so that you can ensure a positive outcome, and how you can actually harvest more conversations even if you don't have a big list. This is why I'm such a fan of having connected conversations. They do not have to be icky. They do not have to be salesy. You do not have to feel pushy when done right. And some of this is going to start even before the conversation, but I'm going to give you some techniques if you are having some conversations now, how to perhaps get better results from those. The fact is I've been generating genuine conversations since I started my business in 2011, but only discovered how they could be more powerful and aligned after trying a whole lot of different approaches, right? I learned from so many people because this was my weak spot. I felt like really insecure about my ability to convert from conversations. I didn't feel it was my strong point because I was stuck thinking it had to be a sales conversation that I was not good at sales, right? And I still, if you ask me, am I good at sales? I still don't think I'm good at sales. What I am good at doing is seeing an opportunity, is connecting with my prospects, connecting with where they want to head, uncovering how their problems, their painful problems are showing up for them right now, and what the possibility of what could be different for them, okay? And then giving them some real structure around. Basically, I do believe it all comes down to message to market, getting really clear about your message to market. And I've got a step and a way to do that, as well as how to take that message to market, put it into your own signature system, and then take that out to the market, how you actually get that out there, how you generate leads, how you start conversations, even if you don't want to use the analog, for want of a better word, ways of networking and uncovering your existing connections, but you want to do some more online, whether it be, videos or webinars. I normally teach my clients how to do webinars. And that works really well because it's a way to sort of go deeper with those who might already have an interest in the topic that you're talking about, but start really framing the desire and the demand for those conversations that you'll have after that. Once again, we're not just going straight to conversation all the time. We're starting to create a simple system where people get more of an idea of what you can do, and they can decide before you have the conversation, which makes them more qualified, right? So after I wrapped my head around being able to charge more and charge what I was worth, because that was also another journey, which is the whole title for another webinar, because most of us are chronically undercharging, but I needed to wrap my head around how to have these conversations and how to get them working. So I actively sought help, and some methods did not resonate with me. I mean, there was one kind of event that I went to, a workshop that was actually residential, right? I went and stayed at these people's houses, which I hate staying. I do not like staying at people's houses that I do not know. So for that already felt ick to me. And I'm in this program, I was paying $6,000 US to be in this program a month, right? A month. I had no qualms in stepping up, saying, right, I'm going to invest in myself. I didn't really like the idea of staying at their house. I liked the whole thing even less when we got the sales training that, taught us to like pick up the phone or like call a relatively cold prospect, like someone just on your email list who maybe hadn't even seen you very much, or you'd had to use kind of fear and manipulation to get them on the call of like, hey, or desperation, hey, you could make all this money if you jump on the call, or whatever it might be. And then start going, hey, you've been selected as a special participant today because I've got this amazing offer and we've got to talk about it, or something. Like, it was so hypey. It was absolutely vomit worthy. I cannot tell you how gross it made me feel. And of course, do you think they were going to convert? No, because really my audience is smarter than that. I'm smarter than that. And when you get in this place of lacking clarity and you're in fear, you haven't got the confidence, you just resort to fear, manipulation, and desperation tactics, because guess what? Sometimes they win. But then what happens is you get this cascading problem of flaky clients you hate, clients that want refunds, clients that make you just question your basic humanity, right? Because you are not coming from a place of authenticity. You're not coming from a place of value, clarity, and confidence. And all it will create is absolute misery for you. So that I know for sure, right? I couldn't just follow a script. A framework is absolutely fine, but I have to authentically feel the transformation that I could offer, believe in it, understand, take a stand for the kind of clients that I wanted to work with too. And price can do that for you, right? It feels counterintuitive to increase your prices. And I'm not suggesting you just increase your prices if you don't get results, if you don't have value. But what I'm suggesting is creating a more valuable package, like stacking the value in there, creating the ultimate solutions for your clients, so you can feel without a shadow of a doubt that you have, an amazing offer once you diagnose in the conversation that the person's the right person for that offer. That's why getting clear on your message to market is absolutely essential. Okay. So yeah, a script just felt off, and I mean, as for those, ringing people up and going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or what, I don't even remember what it was. It was just gross. I even thinking about it just makes my skin crawl. Anyway, once I then had the right mentors around this, and with a really simple way to look at conversations that took all the sales out of it, and it was more like, it sounds a bit cliched and corny to say it was more about service. I don't know if it was. That's why I like to say it's more about connection, and connection implies that you give value, that there's that back and forth energy exchange between you and someone else, and that's more what it's about. It's not selling them anything, because you may have a conversation and realize they're not a fit anyway and not even make an offer. Um, but hopefully, by caring and uncovering and connecting with this person that you're having a conversation with, you will get to the stage where you can, they will invest in you and you can serve them and have a great experience as well, right? The bottom line is, I discovered that what you might think of as sales conversations, or just what I think of as connected conversations, can actually be really fun and profitable too. Absolutely. And you don't have to be a sales ninja to generate more of them and convert your perfect prospects into paying clients. You really, really, really don't have to be a sales ninja. I am not. But here's where most people go wrong on the calls. Once you start talking on the calls, you go into show pony mode, right? You have this need to audition or impress a prospect. This is basically because of your fear and lack of confidence and lack of clarity around your message and the value that you're offering. It may also be because you're not clear about the person that you want to serve. So everyone just gets peppered with the same old spiel, right? And you feel like you've got to do this tap dance and show song and dance to kind of get them to say yes to you, because you don't feel worthy of them investing in you, because you don't have the clarity or the confidence, right? So you jump into show pony mode, and as soon as you turn into the interviewee, because what happens when you give away your power in that situation, because you're asking for their approval, you're giving them the power. I want you to be the benevolent alpha in the conversation. That means that you direct the conversation. You are in charge of the conversation, but you're coming from a place of connection and heart and care, right? This is not like I can't think of the word when arrogant. I couldn't think of the word. You're not being arrogant about you that you know more than them, and the moment that you slip into thinking, oh, I know so much more than the person on the conversation, like that just totally upsets the balance, right? Be curious, listen, and don't go into audition mode. The other thing is being a bull at a gate, right? You hate doing these calls, or you think that you have to sell, so you rush right through them. Okay, you just go into overcoaching mode, or whatever it is. You just like want to get through it so quickly. You think, oh, 20 minutes is long enough to have a conversation. The fact is that's not long enough to diagnose if they're giving you the initial signals. It's not long enough for you to go in and go through the process where they can fully realize the cost of them staying where they are and the power of your solution and the desire for them to invest in what you're offering, right? You need more time than that. Do not rush through that. The other thing is, this comes down to that clarity and confidence part again. You confuse what you're selling. You're not actually selling you. You're selling an outcome. You're not selling a widget. You're not selling, just a one-off, like basic kind of low value opportunity or offer, right? You're selling an outcome, whether that be the outcome of helping people stay married, helping people have more sex, helping people lose weight, helping people look better, feel better, helping people make more money in their business, helping people have better connections with their family, like whatever it may be. There's always an outcome. I don't care what you're selling. Don't confuse it with just going all over the place and thinking that it's just a transaction, right? This is, you're selling a life-changing outcome in some way. And if you're not, then we need to get into your offer and make sure that we create that in a way that it does. You might say, oh, but I deal in this industry, it's not life-changing. Guaranteed, there's so many outcomes that can be created from a whole lot of different industries. So my big light bulb moment was when I was told to diagnose the issues, much like a doctor is doing that with a patient. You don't go to an appointment at the doctor and he just gets out the prescription pad and says, all right, get these things. He has to uncover what the symptoms are showing up. How's that making them feel? How is the illness showing up in the life of the patient, right? And for you, there is a pain point that you need to connect with. There's a pit of pain that your clients are likely experiencing. And if they're not experiencing any pain, then there's probably no point in having a conversation. Now, when I mean pain, I mean they're not lying there writhing in agony, but what they are doing is experiencing the symptoms of things that don't work for them, that keep them up at night, that feel painful, right? Whether that be emotionally or, maybe it's they're disconnected from their child, whatever it might be that is showing up for them, that feels really painful. It doesn't have to be a specific illness, right? Think of these calls. I like to think of the calls and this diagnosis thing as being a bit of a journalist. Or when I was in marketing in corporate, we used to pay $8,000 for these focus groups where they get like six random kind of customers coming in, and the market researcher would ask them questions in order to flesh out how we should market moving forward, right? Because we've got the opinion of our target audience. Putting them in a situation where they have natural conversations about what they desire and guiding them through that was incredibly valuable to make informed decisions about your marketing. You could be doing this from the conversations that you have too, right? So, or think of it like even someone recently, she was a journalist, and she used to be a journalist. She wasn't anymore. She was a healer. And she said, oh, well, I've already sold some $5,000 programs, but I just hate doing sales calls. And so I invited her to think more about it. Hey, what if you just thought about it? You were just doing a story on someone. You needed to collect the facts to put that story together, to uncover the story of that person. So you can even think about it in different frames so that you don't get tripped up by thinking that you have to sell, that you're attached to the outcome, because that can really cloud the issues as well. So if we think about the top 3 sales shifts, I want to invite you, aside from getting really clear on your message to market and getting the right offer and getting the right price, which we can absolutely talk about, but in terms of just things that you can action like straight away in terms of the connected conversations you're having, you can make them an active participant, right? Have the call at a prearranged time. Make them feel really special that they're getting the chance to apply for a call with you and come. Don't just do like what I was saying before, what I learned at that disgusting residential where, you just ring people randomly and start like peppering them with all this stuff. Like, you need to create the right sort of space for them to activate themselves as well. They need to value you as a solution, not as an hourly rate, right? That they need to see the entire solution, not just the small price you want to put on your offers. We want to create that real value and share that with them once we have diagnosed and understood and diagnosed what problems they're facing. Because you can't help them establish your value if their problem hasn't been diagnosed. And you can't really prescribe something like your service or your product. I mean, not medication. If you can't understand what it's really costing them to stay where they are, right? The second part is really, you want them to be in more of an emotional state than a logical state. If like someone stuck in that sort of logic mindset is just going to think about the facts. They're not really going to connect with the emotion of what's showing up for them and the cost of what it's costing them in their life. They'll stay just on, well, how much does it cost and have I got that money? But when they apply that to looking at a value situation of how can I invest to eliminate this problem from my life, that connects them more to the emotion of how it's showing up. And it's your job to kind of guide them into that space as well, right? We don't want them to be overpowered. We want them to be empowered. All right. This isn't about, like I said, it's not about fear and manipulation. It's just about setting the right frame to, excuse me, ensure that you get the great, the ideal outcome if the client is right for you, that they invest in your program. Okay. The other thing is that the prospectors often come to see your offer as a way to direct their actions, not to replace their actions, okay? So if the person is not there to make a decision, then the call should be terminated without making an offer. Timing and flow is everything. So third point, timing and flow, right? After diagnosing, you can't really prescribe something unless they understand what it's costing them to stay where they are. So you don't even make an offer until you realize that they're moving towards a solution and they're moving towards the trust in you and seeking guidance from you, okay? And you'll start to see signs of that from them asking questions. And sometimes they're like, well, how can I work with you? How much does it cost to work with you? All those kind of signs are then, obviously a green light, but you'll start to be able to move them forward in the flow of the conversation to that point, rather than getting on the call and in 20 minutes saying, well, I've got this offer. You need to respond to the signals after you have thoroughly diagnosed by asking questions, listening in, uncovering how motivated they are to change. Because some people also have a lot of problems, but they're not motivated to change them, right? Or they're always the return to find people. They'll try and pretend everything's okay. And you're kind of like, why are you even on a call then if everything's okay, right? Excuse me. So don't discuss what they're doing to solve the problem. Steer them back to discussing the real reason they're on the call. Talk about the heart of the problem, not all the content they're consuming, or when they do their next program, or when they actually activate this diet. Now they've started this workout regime, well, their fitness problems should be sorted, right? Get back to discussing the real reason that they're on the call, because this establishes the cost of them not doing anything. And instead of making an offer, join together with them to investigate the solution. Before you make an offer, join together to say, hey, could this work? What do you think this sounds like? What about if we created something like this? So, sorry, I've got a frog in my throat. This is really important for the I'm not ready yet, or I want to think about it objection, because get ready. There will be objections once you have, you create your offer as well, right? But you want to see how motivated they are to move towards a different outcome. And if they're not prepared to make a commitment to change here, then it might just be time to end the call, and that's totally fine as well. Take the information that you do have and move forward from there. They need to demonstrate a desire to change, right? Without that, there is no point in trying to force something on them, right? You want them to come to you. You want it to flow that way. And they will when you structure this right, when you pay attention to timing and flow, when you create some desire and demand before they even get on the call, when they value your time, right? And you will feel great, even if you follow those principles and at the end of the call they still say no, then you'll still feel great, because these calls don't feel manipulated or weird. They are just engaging. It's interesting to hear and care about somebody who could be a prospect, because you should be passionate about creating outcomes for people like that. Even if they don't decide to invest at this time, they may come back at another time, and you get a chance to practice your message to market. You get a chance to sit in your place of an empowered yes and encourage them to do the same. You get to be ultra clear about what it is, the transformation you offer, and what you have to provide for these people. And that will seep and flow through in every other part of your marketing and your business, okay? Someone like Sarah, who was in my mastermind, she's just like, your discovery session template is awesome. I'm a bit relaxed with my calls and I seem to convert, which she was converting anyway. But once she started putting in those boundaries, I mean, she was having like $90,000 months. It was crazy. So that was really good. So how do you prime them? Well, ideally, it would be good to use an automated webinar to engage with your prospects, demonstrate your credibility and authority, set up the problem in their mind to understand if they can connect with feeling that way and whether they want to explore a solution with you. They also get the chance to understand your authority and credibility in the topic, and uncover if you're a fit for the way they want to learn or who they want to follow. Because even if you've got great stuff, it just might not be something that appeals to them. That's totally fine. So definitely an automated webinar is great. And also don't forget to even practice talking about your offer, even to yourself, which sounds a bit weird around the house. Practice saying what the investment of in your program is. Practice saying that number aloud, so that when you get to a call, you don't suddenly just go, and it doesn't flow because you've got that fear and doubt coming up, okay? So even just applying those extra 3 strategies, plus getting really clear on your message to market, will give you more income, more clients, more certainty, and absolutely more confidence, right? So would you like to get some more specific insights into what you need to create powerful conversations that convert? Hopefully you're on the call today to sort of improve where you're coming from that angle. Look, you can go it alone. I showed you the strategies that are working now to boost what you're getting, the conversations that you're having and the results that you're getting, right? So try that, see if that works. If you've still got this barrier around sales, if you're still unclear about your message to market, even improving those elements of the call are not going to get you where you want to go, because you're also going to need to know the right pre-framing that attracts your best clients. Building from that clarity around the message, how do you create a really simple funnel to get these conversations happening? And in essence, it can be from webinar, it can be live or automated webinar. Well, you go from ad to webinar to connected conversation, or maybe they're going to go from getting on your list, seeing you on Facebook Live, seeing your other posts, signing up for any other valuable gifts that you can provide your audience. You follow them up with email, then get them on a call. It can be a whole raft of different opportunities, right? But you also want to create an application process that positions you as the expert, creates the right expectations so that they're not just showing up thinking they're getting a free coaching call either. Because often if you make it sound too good, or you're coming from that sort of more of a place of desperation, what happens is that, you don't create the right expectation. So you can also you will also need the conversion elements to bolt on that drive sales, right? You can't just have a conversation without this right framework, but those other touch points that help people invest in your higher value programs. The big problem, is fear and doubt creep in way too easily. Having accountability and guidance around this is the best thing you can do to get moving on this. And you don't have to have a big audience. You can set these up and start getting really confident and clear around your message and having these conversations, the connected conversations that convert, okay? The fact is most people need troubleshooting and guidance as they go. So sure, you can go it alone, but it's going to make it really difficult to iterate, test, tweak, get better results, right? It does take practice. It does take a community, right, to win. So building your own community, whether it be on your Facebook page or your personal Facebook profile, on your email list, you need to have people who are seeing what you've got to offer, okay? So I've just said, someone said they can't hear me. Just making sure that has changed. Hopefully you can. Otherwise that's going to be a little bit difficult. Might have just dropped out. And what if you had my help, my personal help, to finally get clear on your message to market and create a system to generate and lead connected conversations with these high value clients where you can feel really empowered and confident about that will convert? And what if I told you that you could do this really, really quickly? Well, the good news is we can have a connected conversation about how to do that too. So I can understand where you're at, perhaps identify some of those blocks that are keeping you from success in this part of your conversion. We'll uncover if it is your the clarity on your message to market, or whether it is something about your packaging. Maybe it's that pre-framing beforehand. You haven't got that stepped out right, but you've got some of the other elements working. Perhaps you've already got some clients who have come your way, but you just don't have enough of them. I'm more than happy to, on this call, to actually map out those next steps to get that happening for you, okay? So you just need to go to victoriagibson.com/call. I'll pop that in the chat box too for you, and hopefully let me just see, it's deciding to freeze here. It doesn't really want to, unfortunately. Let me see. No, it's deciding it's not working. Hopefully you can pop that in anyway. victoriagibson.com/call. Take that URL, answer a couple of questions, and we'll schedule a time and we'll have a chat about how to start making these concepts work for you. I'm also happy to answer any questions that you may have now, and hopefully that's given you some insights. I think we've had the audio problem worked out too, so thanks for letting me know about that. There's nothing worse than that kind of tapping out. I can't seem to actually get in now to the questions. Hopefully, I do see them pop up if they come up, if you do have one. Oftentimes I do get asked, well, is there another way? Can I sell higher priced programs without having conversations? And what I generally say is that if you're offering something priced under $2,000, that's fine. There are ways to set up utilizing your funnel and marketing steps, and you can do that with digital marketing to get people to convert there, right? That's fine. If you want an offer that is more than $2,000, or if you want to create that, and maybe even that freaks you out, but I suggest that if you don't have an offer at least that price and you have an email list under 5,000 people, you're not going to be making the income, revenue, and getting the kind of results that you deserve in your business. So we need to map out what that offer is for you. But if you have got an offer over $2,000, you need to be having conversations. And these conversations can, as I said, I mean, I've utilized them to get someone into a 697 offer, and I've utilized them to get someone into a $25,000 offer, right? They work across the board because it's not about you and your price. Price becomes irrelevant when you can establish the connection, when you can uncover the real source of the pain and paint a future possibility for the right kind of client that you want to serve, that you've created some desire and demand before that, whether that be in a webinar or whether that be in some of your content marketing, right? So those are the things we need to have in place. If you don't have that in place, I just invite you to think about how you could do that on your own, at least get moving towards that. And if you don't have a clue, just get on a call. There is no obligation to invest or buy. It's not like that. Like I'm telling you in these calls, the calls are about really uncovering where you're at and opening up the possibility of what could be there. Most times I have clients walk away on these calls and just be like, oh, thanks so much. Just what you told me there, that it was amazing, right? So you can just have that breakthrough, that reframe that might be enough to set you on your way. Or there may be an opportunity for us to work together and really digging in and getting more, getting better results, getting very clear, getting very confident, and becoming one of my next future case studies would be great too. So hopefully you've enjoyed the information today. It's given you some food for thought. And if you would like to go deeper, please, victoriagibson.com/call. If it's calling you, go there now and apply. And I hope you have a lovely day or rest of your evening. Take care. Bye.